Thanks for staying with us here on the Urban Debate. Let's put the spotlight right now on Maharashtra and specifically also the city of Mumbai. In Maharashtra, we've been in a state of a lockdown now for several weeks. While on an overall state basis, the numbers haven't come down drastically, but in Mumbai, the numbers have begun to show a little bit of drop. The testing has also gone down. The big conversation point, though, in the state has been on vaccination. So, joining me right now to discuss about the war against COVID in Maharashtra, specifically for the city of Mumbai, and what is being planned is Maharashtra Cabinet Minister Aaditya Thackeray, also the Guardian Minister for Mumbai. Thanks so much, Mr. Thackeray, for speaking with us. Let me begin by asking you what everybody wants to know about, which is vaccines. What is the plan to take it forward to step up on the vaccination drive that we have in the city?
To be very honest, we strongly believe in the power of vaccines and that it is working around the world. If you see different countries around the world that have actually vaccinated their citizens in a large number, they've actually had a drop in hospitalization cases. So we're believing in the power of the science and vaccines. We're wanting to procure vaccines for the citizens of Maharashtra. Just the other day, you must have seen the cabinet decision where we're ready to draw out a single check and procure 12 crore vaccines for the 6.5 crore people between the age bracket of 18 to 44 that we are mandated to vaccinate by the government of India. However, having said that, the supplies are really short, and we're trying to grapple with the fact that there is a less number of vaccines available to us. We're trying to speak to producers, be it in India, and just yesterday we've sort of had a discussion within the BMC, and we're also looking for other cities who are ready to do that, to float a global tender for vaccine procurement. So if we can go for that, nothing better than that, because we strongly believe that the faster we vaccinate the people of India, the safer we can be, and the more hospitalization cases that we can reduce. So I guess that is the intent behind going for a global procurement.
Yeah, okay, but what does this global tender even mean? Currently, there are 2 vaccine makers in our country who are supplying, who have the approvals. There's only one other vaccine that has got the approval, which is Sputnik vaccine. Others don't even have a central government's nod. So are you going to be only looking at Sputnik, or will you look at the other options, then strike a deal, go to the center and get the nod?
So as of now, the cities that have been deregulated, we hope that we'll be, open to all the producers around the world, because, as someone from the state government, I cannot really name a particular company, because we believe in all companies. The science is pretty similar to each other, even though technologies are different, the intent is the same, and all vaccines have been proven to be useful to curb COVID. So we're hoping to get a good response. And then, of course, once we do that, then we can go ahead in terms of the rules and regulations, how they're coming forth.
Okay. Let me talk a little bit more about what you are doing on ground and what policies we are looking at. There have been certain changes in the vaccination policy that's now causing a lot of confusion. No walk-ins are allowed anymore. People have to get registered on the portal if they have to get a Covishield is one example. We had an example coming in from Chembur in the city of Mumbai, where the local politicians and corporators simply started saying that the vaccines are only for people who are in this ward. In another example, we've got many instances where tokens are being distributed. People are having to come again and again, go take the token, go back. These kind of various decisions on ground are simply adding to a confusion and to the chaos. Don't you think there is a reason and necessity for us to streamline the entire policy and make it comprehensive and simple?
Yes, I would want to admit that, because what is happening is there are supplies that come in from the government of India or the producers to the state government. And then, of course, the next day that we have to, distribute it equitably across the state. And then, of course, different places, different districts, then different cities, different rural areas, different centers that they go to. When we're distributing it equitably, what also happens is the COVID app is actually still governed by the government of India. Last week, the Chief Minister has written to the Prime Minister with asking with 2 requests. One is, of course, that the center gives us a different app, which is, regulated by the government of India, but each for a different state, so that we can actually decide how we can give the slots and, the roadmap ahead. Or the other, where the states can make their own COVID apps and share the data with the government of India. primarily because the supplies and the COVID app are not really decided by the state in terms of how much a state would get as a quota from the government or the producers, and two, the slots or the appointments are given by the COVID app completely. The chaos is, I wouldn't say it's because of the technology or the supplies, largely, which is a good thing also, that the vaccine hesitancy has moved from hesitancy to an eagerness to get the vaccine. And, that is why we're seeing a large number of crowds at vaccination centers. We've tried to differentiate vaccination centers as well. Obviously, when you have, say, and now it boils down to ward level also, but you also have a certain states that are mulling over vaccinating only people from their own states. You've had a couple of states voice that out. And it is most natural because, when you see that you in the neighborhood are not getting a vaccine and someone else is getting a vaccine, there is, a social distress that is caused there. However, we're trying to convince people that let's just go by the COVID app and the appointment slots. Let's not go by the area of the neighborhood or residence or things like that, because every Indian has to get vaccinated. That is a priority. But I feel genuinely that if at all the states are given the mandate to control the local COVID apps, the statewide COVID apps, I think it'll be better for us to draw a roadmap ahead to efficiently and smoothly and swiftly vaccinate the citizens of our country and our states.
But Aditya, even developing a new app and starting from scratch is going to take time. It can't happen right away.
I don't think development of apps really takes time. And, we would be sharing data with the government of India, or the government of India can create an app. It's a very simple process. And more than that, I guess, along with that, we're also working in the BMC and, of course, in other cities. I can speak largely for BMC because being the Guardian Minister in Mumbai, but me, my colleague Minister, Mr. Aslam Sheikh, and the Mayor, Ms. Kishori Pednekar, and, of course, with the Municipal Commissioner, we're also working on a policy whereby we can help citizens who are not tech-savvy, because, the tech-savvy citizens are also finding some difficulties to get through the COVID app because of the sheer load that is coming on the app. And there are also many citizens who are not tech-savvy. They don't know how to use apps. They don't know what the OTP is all about. So we're also working on a policy to help them reach out with the vaccines.
Okay, let me now come to another problem, which is also because, there is so much of last minute changes which are happening. A lot of our conversation and information dissemination, public awareness and announcements are also happening on Twitter, on social media. So not only is there a problem where we say that, okay, if you just, make it a prerequisite that people have to register on the portal, you're taking away the access from half the people who don't have access to technology or to the portal or can register themselves. We are also announcing and making all the, information available only on social media, which again means that a lot of people in the city and in the state will not be able to access that information. What is the plan there? How do we ensure that everybody has access to the vaccine, has access to the information about the vaccine?
Exactly. I mean, right after this, we have a meeting with the Municipal Commissioner of Mumbai, and we're really keen to have people who, for example, like while logging into this video call, we were grappling with technology. So, it's not about tech savvy or non-tech savvy. I think it's a sheer load. And of course, when we speak about walk-ins, if we have enough number of vaccines available, we can go for the walk-ins. We're also looking at having a vaccination center in each municipal ward across Mumbai, the 227 municipal wards. We have mandated that. We've just released a policy yesterday for housing societies to partner with private hospitals and do vaccinations in their own housing society areas. We've also looked at whether we can have drive-in vaccination centers across Mumbai, and we're going to do that. I've asked, I've requested other cities as well to do that for Pune, Thane, Navi Mumbai, Nagpur, Nashik. But when we speak about vaccinations, I think the key thing out here is to have enough vaccines, and that's what we're really struggling with, and that's what we're really working on also. So once we have an adequate number, then walk-ins, no walk-ins, tech-savvy, no tech-savvy, I think all of that is manageable.
Okay, I understand that a lot of problems are obviously happening right now because there aren't enough vaccines. There is a shortage of vaccines. For the same reason, the Health Minister of Maharashtra said that, till we have abundant supply of vaccines, we will have to perhaps look at slots within these age groups, and so not allow everybody from 18 to 45, but only look at 35 to 44 as the age group, and that also maybe first only for people who have comorbidities. Is that something?
I wouldn't want to, go into his area of domain, because finally that is the health ministry's prerogative, the state, and the task force is comprising of 11 doctors who take all the administrative and the medical calls for the state in terms of COVID, in sync with the health ministry, and in terms of the health ministry, in the medical education department, and of course all the municipal corporations. So the task force, the health ministry are in talks of how do we plan it ahead. I think that is very crucial.
Right. No, okay, fair enough. I understand the final decision will have to come from there, but is that really an option that we can really be looking at right now, especially considering that there is shortage of
anyone left behind? For us, what is very crucial is that every person in Maharashtra is vaccinated in good time, and that's what we are working on 24/7.
Okay. Let me now move on to another larger question about the city of Mumbai, since that's also something you're closely looking at. The daily cases are coming down, and we've seen that in the numbers, but so is the testing. How will we really know the real picture? In the first wave, we had seen that the BMC had aggressively gone ahead with testing, contact tracing, even gone door to door to look at this scenario. Shouldn't we be doing that again?
So there are two things I'd like to point out in this. One is, of course, the Sunday trends. And the Sunday trends, if you've seen from day one last year as well, that is something we shouldn't really hold into great accountability, because Sunday, the lab processing is a little slow. Sunday, people are little, they're really not up for testing, and labs also are processing on Monday. So there are some labs that process on Sundays, some labs that process on Sundays. So that is not a number that I account for from on what we see on Monday. So the dips on Mondays are not really we should hold true, because every single day we are trying to increase our testing, and Monday to Saturday is when all the labs are active, all the private labs, the government labs are working 24/7. I think when we speak about testing, last June, we removed all the possible requirements that were needed for testing, be it a prescription, be it only being symptomatic. And we said, let's all go for basically testing across Maharashtra. Now we're appealing to people, because we need people to come forward and test themselves. We're appealing to people, come forward and test yourselves. And that is one of the concerns, that testing might go low if people start holding back from testing. So we've been speaking to GPs, we've been speaking to private doctors, we've been speaking to family doctors. The Chief Minister himself, the Deputy Chief Minister himself has been speaking to all the family doctors across Maharashtra, urging them to step forward and request families, request people they test on a regular basis to go for the RT-PCR or the RAT test. Because for us, having a higher number of tests is very, very crucial. And through this channel as well, let me appeal to people that testing is voluntary. Testing is available everywhere. Please go and test yourselves at the first sign of COVID-like symptom, or if you've come in contact with any COVID positive patient in the last 7 days. I think that is very, very crucial. In terms of tracing and quarantining, even today, we're trying to maintain our ratio of 1:20 for every index case. However, with, when the lockdown goes away, it gets difficult. Right now, in a calibrated lockdown, contact tracing is highly possible, and we've been focusing on that.
No, okay, fair enough. In fact, even we never really look at only the weekend numbers in isolation, the numbers that actually come on Monday, for this very reason. I'm actually looking at testing data over a week, whether it was the first week of April to now, where it's down over 35%, or even if we look at April 19 to 25 week, where we did over 41,000 tests, to now where we're doing about 31,000 tests. So there is a significant drop in the testing that we're looking at, which is why I'm asking you this question.
No, because see, there's a natural up and down for that. When the cases go down in terms of, the cases that are symptomatic also, or the cases that have been admitted, largely people hold back from testing voluntarily. And since testing is absolutely voluntary, we're urging people to test more. You must have seen last week as well, the municipal commissioner himself made an appeal through the media for people to come up and test. I think that is very, very crucial. So let there be no hesitancy in testing yourselves. I think it's crucial for us to test on a regular basis.
All right, I have many more questions, but perhaps at another time. Thank you so much, Aaditya Thackeray, for joining us here and taking our questions about how Mumbai and Maharashtra is tackling the COVID situation right now.
Thank you so much.